Today in this video we're going to talk about the Zebco Bullet. I use this reel flat out for about a 5-month period. In this video I cover everything from specifications, areas to improve, price point, and whether or not you should add one of these to your collection.
Oh geez.
Now I'll be honest, I never took Zebco as seriously as I should have. To me, Zebco or Spincast reels were for kids and people who go fishing once or twice a year at a local lake. But one day I thought, hey, does anyone make an awesome all-metal, expensive Spincast reel? I took to Amazon and guess what? I found the Zebco Bullet. Let me tell you, I haven't been this excited about a reel ever. I ordered the Zebco Bullet sight unseen and fished it for 5 months straight for both rainbow trout and salmon. I mean, I took this thing on every single fishing trip. This reel caught a ton of fish and left me with just one burning question. Zebco, why are you not expanding your higher end reels? We all know you're making a killing selling cheap fishing combos at Walmart to the masses, but us fishing zealots need to see Zebcos and Spincast reels hanging out with the very best of the spinners and the bait casters. The Bullet is a great start, but she ain't perfect. While testing the reel, I identified 2 areas for improvement. You know what? Let's make that 3 areas. First of all, the braid does work. With a little bit of fine tuning, you'll catch fish all day with braid. But I can tell you, this reel is happy with monofilament. She loves her monofilament, she loves her hybrid, and you can get away with some fluorocarbon. Braid is tricky. Number 2, everything besides the handle knobs should be metal. A plastic component failure left the reel completely inoperative. And number 3, please make this in America. Alright, first up, packaging. The Bullet comes in a sleek black box with red writing and cool animations on the side of the box demonstrating component features. Inside the box you get your reel, a spare spool, and a set of instructions. Alright, let's look at features. The line capacity in the Zebco Bullet is 85 yards at 10 pounds. You get 2 spools pre-rigged with what I'm assuming is going to be Zebco's cheap OmniFlex monofilament line. This line is cheap, but it certainly works. I caught a lot of trout with it, and my dad and I, when we go steelhead fishing in Washington State, we use OmniFlex on spinning reels, and it works great. Comparable size spinners have line capacities out to 140 and 165 yards at 10 pounds. So the Zebco Bullet isn't winning this competition, but I'm here to tell you, 85 is all you need. Alright, let's look at the gear ratio. The gear ratio is a solid 5.1 to 1, which is all you need for freshwater fishing. For those who don't know, that's 5.1 bail rotations per 1 rotation of the handle. In other words, that's your retrieval rate. As an industry standard, 4 to 1 is considered slow, 5 to 1 is probably medium speed, and 6.1 and above is considered fast retrieval. Alright, let's look at bearing count. Bearing count in this reel is 8+1, which is a lot. More bearings typically make for a smoother retrieve of a reel. Once again, 5 is sort of the magic number. This provides reasonable smoothness at an affordable price. The Bullet has a 29.6 inch per turn of retrieve, which is impressive. That is 0.6 inches more than the Shimano SLX 150 HG baitcasting reel. All metal construction. Yeah, not quite. During my testing of this reel, a very plastic component failed and left this reel inoperable until I ordered a new part. Alright, I'm out here sockeye fishing and the Zebco Bullet went down hard. What's happening is the push button retracted, but it now won't extend back out, so I can't retract the spool nubs, the little cams. I was able to get the front cover assembly off, but now it won't go back on, so she is broke hard. I'm going to take her home and try and diagnose what's going on. What? The reel contains precision machine brass gears that are beautiful and smooth. The reel comes with GripEm all-weather handle knobs that are wildly comfortable. You have continuous anti-reverse that is very impressive. If you're reeling this thing in, it doesn't give up any line that's been already retrieved once you stop. And then you have these really cool quick change spools that allow you to have 2 different types of line on your quick change spool. So if you're doing 2 different types of fishing, in a matter of 2 minutes you can have a new line in your reel. So it's a very cool feature. Let's look at fishability. I would classify this reel as a great lake fishing reel. With some 10-pound mono and a 6-foot fluorocarbon leader joined by a uni knot, you can conquer the lake world. Could you fish this reel on the saltwater flats of Florida? Yes, but I'm here to tell you the first snook or crevalle jack that you hook into is probably going to de-spool you in about 2 seconds. If you're fishing this thing saltwater, after every use you need a can of WD-40 to spray inside the reel because the interior components are always wet when you're done using this. With the 5.1 2:1 gear ratio and the 8+1 bearing count, this reel is a really fun reel for retrieving lures. Beat control is very smooth and easy. Casting with the thumb stop over and over again is as easy as a bait caster, and more importantly, there are no bird nests. You can adjust the drag on the fly with your passive hand. In other words, you never have to take your hand off the handle assembly. With my left hand, I can sit there, adjust the drag while I continuously reel in the fish. However, with the drag, you need to be careful. It is way too easy to set too much drag, and this can happen.
Oh my god! Oh!
Did you break your reel?
Damn!
What happened?
What you saw there was a 12-pound coho breaking my line. Not a good day. And the rod I've been using the whole time is the exceptional Okuma, I don't even know how to say this, Celilo? C-E-L-I-L-O? Celilo? No idea. Anyways, 8 foot 6 inches, so it's long, so I can cast this thing a mile, 8 to 17 pounds. So, and it comes with the trigger, so it's just like a bait casting reel. You got the trigger on the bottom. So that's the setup right there. And then finally, this reel is truly ambidextrous. As I demonstrate in my other video, you can swap this handle assembly, which has 2 knobs and is awesome, to the other side. So if you're left-hand dominant, this reel works for anyone. So that's kind of with most Zebcos. The Omega Pro is the same way. You can swap out the Omega Pro, no problem. All right, let's talk about price point. At $85 to $100, the Zebco Bullet is hanging out with the realm of mid-grade reels that are probably at the top of the value curve when it comes to functionality versus price. If you can count on your hands how many times you fish per year, this may not be your reel. Anything under $50 will serve you just fine. But if you're a serious angler and you need to add to your collection, I strongly consider you look into this reel. Alright, maintenance. I created a separate video a few months back on how to properly maintain a Zebco Bullet. If you need to clean this reel, go check it out. Simply, if you use the reel a lot, you need to clean it monthly. If you hardly fish at all, you only need to clean this thing once a year. Breaking down a Spincast reel can be intimidating and even challenging if you've never done it, but read the instructions or go check out my video and then you'll be a pro in no time. Alright, let's get to the elephant in the room. Known flaws of the Zebco Bullet. I used this reel heavily for 5 months. I mean, I took this thing on every single outing, and I got it to fail. On the side of the box, Zebco brags about all metal construction. All metal construction. Something that was not all metal failed. A very plastic THUMBSTOP with spring failed. Failure of this component left the reel utterly useless. I went online, ordered a new part, and now the Bullet is as good as new. I have to give a special shout out to my old man. He's the one that actually came and visited. He broke down my reel and found the malfunctioning part for me. So, Dad, you rock. My dad's always been a Zebco, a believer in the Zebcos, so I'm finally coming around. A metal THUMBSTOP would not have failed. Okay, issue number 2. Let's talk about braided line. I've read some reviews online, people saying that braid doesn't work in this reel. That is not true.
There you have it, folks. You run braid in the Zebco Bullet, you can cast this thing a mile. I think it hit like a ton of bricks.
I have gotten braid to work in this reel and it does catch fish. However, it is not the recommended line that I would put in this reel. She loves her monofilament and her fluorocarbon, and that's all you need for lake fishing and river fishing. But I did use 15-pound braid, and if you fine-tune the amount of line on the spool, it will work. Finally, it would probably cost a heck of a lot more, but if they made this in America, I know that Penn offers their Senator reels in Chinese made and American made, and of course American made are more expensive, but I'm sure you would have a market, Zebco, if you made this in America. And maybe even keep the Chinese one. Conclusion, if you're serious about fishing and your collection is missing this reel, you might want to consider the Zebco Bullet. To Zebco, well done. It isn't perfect, but it sure is close. We need more of this. We need more high-end Spincast reels up there competing with the very best of the spinners and the bait casters. I hope and look forward to the next generation of Zebco Bullet and Omega Pros and all the awesome Spincast reels. As always, thanks for watching. Go out and fish. Talk to you later.